Please welcome Elisa Coster, our manufacturing production coordinator. With experience transitioning from retail and shopping to manufacturing, Elisa supports production, safety, and HR teams at her small manufacturing plant in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Today, she'll share some insights on her career path and discuss modern manufacturing opportunities beyond the plant floor. Elisa, welcome and thanks for joining us today. Can you share a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. Good morning, everybody. So I am here in Tulsa, and I've been with this manufacturing company for about 2 years. And it's just been absolutely world-changing for me coming from shipping and retail work. It's really been easy for me to kind of transition into it just based on the different things that I got to do before, and then moving into this. I tried a lot of different things before, and then this really with manufacturing just started to feel like home for me.
That's awesome. It's always good to kind of connect your career with what you like to do because obviously we spend a lot of time at work. Can you tell us a little bit more about where you currently are in your career and what a typical day looks like as a production coordinator?
Sure. So in my career as a production coordinator, I mainly handle really anything that supports our production supervisors and the guys on the shop floor, as well as HR and safety. So a lot of that looks like in the mornings I come in and I do time and attendance, handling all of the hours and labor cost for all of our guys on the floor. And then throughout the day, really no day looks the same. It just kind of depends on where we're at. Currently, we're working on some projects in the shop related to safety and just organization and making the shop flow smooth. So there's a few things that I'm working on with that to kind of help out, and that's going on at all of our locations currently. So it's been a big monster for sure, but a lot of fun because you kind of get to work with all of the guys and kind of get their insight and learn what they think works best. And it's been a learning opportunity for me as well. Not knowing as much about manufacturing coming into this, and just really getting to see all the different facets that go into it.
It sounds like you are kind of a foundational support to making a lot of the other parts of the company move and work well, especially when it comes to just implementing new systems like you mentioned and working with cross-functional teams. Can you tell us a little bit about what in the manufacturing space the other teams or yourself work on? Like what kind of manufacturing?
So we manufacture air-cooled heat exchangers, and there are different people that go into that. So we have welders, we have painters, and we have the people who actually assemble the cooler once the welders have put all the pieces together in the way that they need to go. Then you have multiple different parts and accessories that go on those coolers. And then we have our scheduling team. So we have a scheduler who basically talks to all of our customers and gets their orders and gets them scheduled in our yearly schedule to kind of see where those fit in. We also have our purchasing department. So they take care of ordering any supplies that we might need or any materials that we need for jobs. We have our engineers and our drafters that work for us as well, and they help to build those prints and everything so that we make sure those coolers get built right.
So not just when you talk about a career in manufacturing, then it's not just the trades. It's not just someone who's a welder. It's not just someone who's working with their hands. There's a lot of other positions as well, like yourself, like the people who are doing the scheduling. So high school students, they can actually take away from this that, if they are not somebody who wants to work in a skilled labor, there are other positions within that field, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And can you tell us a little bit about like how you kind of fell into this career path? It seems like you really love it, but you had also mentioned that you had only been in it 2 years. We'd love to hear a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So, I had been in retail shipping for almost 10 years, and I just kind of felt like it was time for a change. And this particular job was posted on the job site, and I looked through all of the qualifications and the things that I would be doing, and I just really, it kind of all spoke to me. I looked at a lot of the things and I was like, oh, that sounds like something I already do now and I enjoy it. So why not just try out a different field and see if it's right for me? And from pretty much my first interview, I knew that this was the right place.
I love that. Well, congratulations on landing a job that you really love. Can you elaborate a little bit more on like what skills you felt or personal qualities were a good fit for this position or really resonated with you?
So, working in retail, you kind of learn to work with multiple types of people. And in the manufacturing world, we have various types of positions and different types of people that you work with. So, me having that experience in just learning how to communicate and work with different types of people really was a very strong point for me here to begin with, because there was so much that I had to learn. So, I had to learn how to communicate with those different types of people. Then also there was just time management is another big thing. So with all of the projects that we have going on, you have to be able to know what's most important, what's least important, what do you need to ask for help with? And then let's see, any other, really, I think those were the two kind of main things. Having gone to school as well, I kind of gained some experience with like Excel and Microsoft Word and all of that. So those are things that I do use on a daily basis as well. And having that base knowledge really helps a lot.
Awesome. All good skills to have. And I feel like those are skills that we can use in pretty much any job, any career path. To touch a little bit more on like education or training, did you have to, going into this job, do any special trainings in addition to any education you may have already completed?
No, actually, I did not. The experience that I had from my previous jobs was sufficient enough. A couple things that probably would have helped me a little bit more would have been if I had a better knowledge of manufacturing in general. So if manufacturing is something that you're thinking about going into completely blind, I would definitely say do a little bit of research before you decide to jump in, and just make sure that you have a base knowledge of how manufacturing works.
And what advice would you give on how somebody could kind of kickstart that experience or diving a little bit deeper into the manufacturing world,
Um,
especially as a high school student?
Yeah, so at least here in Tulsa, we have Tulsa Tech, which is just a trade school, and they offer our high school students the opportunity to take courses in welding. I think they also have some other things that are not necessarily trade related, but like accounting, different things like that that try kind of just give you a jump start into that kind of a career if you're interested in it, without having to worry about like trying to learn on the job. It kind of gives you that foot in. I mean, if your school offers any kind of like wood shop class or anything that is hands-on, I would highly recommend doing anything like that just to get the feel for it and find out if it's something that you even want to do.
And what types of careers are in manufacturing that you could touch on, just like a high level?
Yeah, so I mentioned before, we have our purchasing department. So those are the positions within that would be like a senior buyer, just a buyer. Then we have our scheduling. So we have a planner. We also have document control. So you'd be a document control specialist. We have drafters, engineers, accounting even. And then production supervisors, painters. There's the possibilities are honestly endless, because I mean, you have a company that you have to run as well. So anything that would be, part of running an actual company, you would have that in manufacturing as well.
Awesome. So lots of pieces, lots of different departments, lots of opportunity.
Absolutely.
What do you think would be the biggest misconception about being in the manufacturing world, especially before you started working in this position specifically?
Yeah, the biggest misconception with manufacturing is, for me at least, was not know really just not knowing about anything about manufacturing to begin with, and thinking that, I was going to come in and no one was going to help me. I was going to have to try to learn everything on my own. And one thing that I've really come to notice is everyone is very willing to teach you. I mean, even out on the shop floor, if you walk out and say, "Hey, can you show me how to weld this?" or "Hey, can you show me how to assemble this piece of equipment or this piece of material?" Everyone is very willing to just jump in and help everyone.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. And I love that you actually get to see some of the production or the manufacturing just rather than sitting in an office. So I'm sure, does that help with your job
Yes,
essentially?
yes, it does.
Along with that, do you feel like there's any additional like training in your future or where would this career path take you? Like, I guess the silly interview question, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Yeah. So actually, at this current moment, I'm working on my bachelor's degree in supply chain and operations management. So my ultimate goal here is to be either a production supervisor or even have my boss's job one day when he's ready to go on. And he's our production supervisor, our production manager, sorry. And he basically, I mean, he oversees the whole shop, and then he works directly with all of the other departments to make sure that everything flows smoothly. So that's kind of where I see myself, hopefully in the next 5 years. Could take longer, just depending on how things work around here. But for sure, in the next 3 to 5 years, production supervisor is my first goal.
That's awesome. And would you say that continuing your education or learning more specifics about the manufacturing, you mentioned your degree will be touching in supply chain. Um, do you recommend that as, furthering your education or always learning, just will give you a leg up?
Yeah, absolutely. As much as you can do to keep learning, no matter what career you end up in. I mean, that's there. You should never stop learning anything, whether it's directly from other people or furthering your education through an official institution, or if it's just taking additional training courses that are offered by any website or anything like that. Like the Coursera, I think, is one that I've been using lately. But just to kind of, I mean, it's always good to just keep your mind going and learn as much as you can all the time.
Absolutely. And with that, do you feel like there is any technology that you work with right now, or any talk of technology advances or use of AI within your career specifically, or within manufacturing that you can touch on?
Yeah. So there are there's definitely, I mean, there's robotics that help with manufacturing. We don't specifically use any here yet, but we have been talking about the idea of potentially looking into it. Just a lot of different things that can help with that. There's other software that I use on a daily basis that has significantly helped with what I do personally. As well as our whole safety aspect. We started a new program last year using a software company, and it's really helped to keep all of our employees up to date on safety training and just general knowledge. And it also provides a communication route for us to send out information for our employees.
That's awesome. Nothing better than being efficient and organized. You mentioned safety. Is safety a big concern within the field? And what does some of that look like? What do you have to prepare your employees for, or the company as a whole?
Yeah, safety is our number one priority always. Because you never know. I mean, when you're working with big machinery and heavy equipment and everything, just having that safety mindset as the top and foremost mindset you can have, it can save your life. And there's definitely plenty of opportunities to be even safer. But yeah, safety is a huge thing in the manufacturing world, just because, I mean, we all want to be safe and we all want to live happily and everything. So keep your neighbors safe and they'll keep you safe.
And would you say that that is required up front, or is that something that's more learned on the job?
It is technically required up front, but there's a lot of learning opportunities throughout. So For us here, on the very first day for any employee, they go through a number of safety trainings before they're even allowed to be on the shop floor. That's whether you're working in the office or you are working on the shop floor. There is a set list of safety trainings that we all go through just to make sure. To give an example, we all go through like a forklift awareness safety training. So it's basically just talking about you need to be aware that if you walk out on the shop floor, there could be a forklift coming, and here's what you need to do in order to stay safe around that forklift. And the forklift driver has gone through certain certifications that allow them to be able to drive that forklift safely. So there are things that are more advanced, but most everyone gets the basics when they first come on.
That's awesome. Have you been able to be on a forklift or drive one?
Not yet. Not yet, but it's in the cards. It's in the cards.
Would you say that, kind of switching gears here a little bit, would you say that you feel accepted into the workplace? We do have a question from a student that wants to know, are there gender stigmas in manufacturing?
There can be. I feel like I'm very fortunate to be not only in this day and age, but within my company specifically. They're very supportive of women in manufacturing. We do have quite a few women who work for us, both in the office and on the shop floor. So I would say overall, at my company specifically, yes, we are very, very supportive and very inclusive. And from things that I've heard just across the board in manufacturing in the last 10 years, women are becoming more and more accepted in the manufacturing world and just continuing to grow. If you're interested, there is a Women in Manufacturing, I guess, a group, or I don't know what the word for it is, but
Organization?
yeah, organization. Yes, yes. And they have all of our women here at my shop are we're all a member, and there's learning opportunities. There's also plenty of information. And yeah, it's really eye-opening, because that was another thing that I was a little concerned about when I first came in was, being a woman, is this going to be harder for me, or is it going to be, I'll just be treated exactly the same? And so far I've been treated just like anybody else in terms of my abilities and everything else.
That's really awesome to hear. Thank you for sharing that story with us, because I do think that it is something top of mind, clearly, with the questions from the students. And I appreciate your perspective on it. And it just goes to show that, building your community, networking groups like Women in Manufacturing, or seeking out those opportunities, give you the extra support in your jobs. Maybe not even gender specific, but in your industry as well. Would you say that networking in this industry is very viable option for, maintaining different contacts within the world or support of
Absolutely.
manufacturing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what you don't know, somebody else might know, and you can always ask for help, or just asking for additional information, getting some insight on maybe how they do things. Not every company is going to be willing to, share their trade secrets or anything, but just people that work in different positions, you can kind of bounce ideas off of them. So yeah, networking is definitely something really big that is helpful.
And I'm sure it gives you a different perspective on like what other people do in different manufacturing areas,
Mhm.
fields, companies. So you, like you said, you can bounce ideas off of each other. I'm sure you get to know a little bit more about other people's positions. And so what's the work-life balance within the manufacturing world, or within your career specifically?
Yeah, I would say my work-life balance is really good. And a lot of that does come from the fact that, I mean, my company is very, very adamant about everyone getting to spend enough time with their families and having their own lives outside of work. That's kind of one of our focuses. And I feel like a lot of manufacturing companies are starting to lean towards that direction, where, regardless of what your position is, the important thing is family. And getting home safely to your family. So, being treated like family at work is one thing, but getting to actually be able to spend time with your family at home is also important. So yeah, I mean, I feel like work-life balance for this is very, it's even. It's very even.
That's great. And are there you, I'm just going to go ahead and assume you work like a 9 to 5 position, but maybe that's not something somebody's interested in. Are there positions within your company specifically that you can give us a little info on, or in the manufacturing world that you may be able to touch on that, there are opportunities for people who can work overnights or different shifts if they wanted, that there's, flexibility within that world as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the things here specifically, we have a hard time finding people that want to work overnights. We have an evening shift that starts anywhere from 4 in the afternoon to sometimes as late as 6 in the afternoon. And then they work until 2 or 3 in the morning, and it's hard to find people that want to work those shifts. So yeah, I mean, absolutely, if there are opportunities across the board. There's true overnight shifts that start at 9 p.m. and work until 7 a.m. So I think with manufacturing, the opportunities for working a shift that works for your life, it's a lot more open than your typical job, office job where you're working 9 to 5. I got lucky and I get to work 7 to 3 or 7 to 4 because that works better for my schedule. So, I think it's really open, and pretty much any company is going to have those opportunities.
That's great to hear that there's a lot of flexibility as well. How about age? Like, in the manufacturing world within your company, what's the starter age for positions? And does your company or other companies like yours tend to take on internships or fellow or apprenticeships during those high school years?
Yeah, so I would say at my company specifically right now, our youngest is probably 19, 20. Most of our employees have had maybe a year or two of experience, whether that was learning through trade school while they were in high school. We are working towards getting some internships, and I think that that's been something that I've seen across the board with different manufacturing companies is taking on those fresh students essentially and getting to kind of teach them the way that they want their employees to work and the kind of job that they want them to do. So it's becoming more prevalent in terms, and we're starting to as well. And then, yeah, I mean, really, yeah, I would say youngest for us now is that 19 to 20 range. Most of them with about a year, maybe a year or less of experience.
And would you say that if somebody was looking to do like an internship or something before they really jump into this as a career, would you say that the skills they would need, what are some of like the skills that they would need? Because obviously they would be starting fresh. So would it be more those soft skills with personality?
Yeah, I would say for the shop floor specifically, really as long if you're good with your hands. I know that's not necessarily a soft skill, but if you're good with your hands and you're a quick learner, there are positions that are easy to kind of jump into for the first time. And then as far as internships, we in the office, I would say I mean, if you've got soft skills, being able to talk to people well, and again, learn quickly, or just have the motivation or the drive to learn and just be a sponge and soak up as much as you can. Really, I think that internships are, they're open. So yeah, as long as you've got those, it's pretty easy.
And what advice would you give to students who are interested in trade careers, college, or maybe just advice in general on seeking out what they want to do for a career?
Yeah, definitely try out as much as you can. That was one thing that I'm glad that I did do before I committed to something. I got to try out a bunch of different things. I was anywhere from restaurant works to I tried accounting for a little bit and decided that wasn't the right fit. And then I went back to retail. And then I finally found this. So if you're interested in it, you can, I'm sure, look on the internet and find opportunities to try out different types of things. And yeah, I mean, trade school really is probably the best bet. If you know for sure this is what I want to try to do or this is what I want to do, it's definitely a good place to start.